Hello and welcome to the Evening News for today, Wednesday, January 7, 2015. I'm Avinash Ramzan. Thanks for joining us. In the headlines, CJ starts hearing into App News court action against government over disapproved spending. One dead, one critical after Little Diamond accident. Government to sue controversial GNCPP over monies owed for botched summit services. GCOM gets funds for sensitive election materials. Town clerk and mayor clash over non-payment of municipal nurses. And dark secrets discovered in embattled Ashalton teacher's closet as residents push for his removal. We start off by telling you that head of the Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit, Kanu James Singh, on Wednesday told the Guyana Times that a huge cocaine bust on Tuesday on board a Cyprus-registered vessel, the MV Delta Dice, has no connections to Guyana. He stated that presently they are in close contact with their counterparts in a neighboring country, and it is clearly a case of transshipment from Suriname. The vessel, he reiterated, was intended to load at Linden with bauxite before heading to Europe. However, he noted that the captain and two crew members remain in custody after intense investigations by the team of investigators. Singh added that the case file will be sent to the Director of Public Prosecutions, Shalimar Ali Haq, who will determine whether or not to institute charges. Once recommendations are made, Kanu, he added, will act accordingly. He nevertheless reiterated that the seizure is a clear indication that the drug enforcement agencies are bent on putting a dent in the drug trade. This recent drug operation has now become the biggest seizure in Guyana. The legal action filed by a Partnership for National Unity, APNU, to stop government from spending on programs that were approved by the Parliament has commenced. More details from Vanu Manikchand.
The matter was heard in chambers by Acting Chief Justice Ian Chang on Wednesday. During the proceedings, attorneys representing the APNU commenced and completed arguments. Senior Counsel Rex McKay led the arguments, stating that the affidavit in answer to the application for a conservatory order to stay government spending until the determination of the matter contained nothing of substance. Attorney Basil Williams then continued arguments, citing several authorities from countries such as Kenya and Trinidad, where conservatory orders were granted on the basis of protecting the public coffer.
That's very important. The way the public coffers are threatened, a conservatory order will issue, because if at the end of the hearing the decision is lost, then there's no way you could get back monies that would have been spent. So wherever the public purse is threatened, that situation is likely to have a conservatory order issued to protect the people's money.
Williams contended that the finance minister has been spending illegally, pointing out that there is nothing in the Constitution that says programs that were disapproved by the National Assembly can be funded by the minister. Meanwhile, Senior Counsel Ashton Chase commenced arguments on behalf of Minister Ashni Singh. Attorney General Anil Nandlal is expected to commence his arguments on Friday when the case resumes. The AG maintained that government has nothing to defend in this matter.
The Minister of Finance has acted in compliance with constitutional provisions that are well known and followed constitutional procedures that are well recognized. And he has done that in 3 successive years. Coupled with that is the fact that we have 2 rulings from the very judge before whom we are appearing. And those rulings indicate that the Minister of Finance has discretion, if he wishes to exercise it, to use money in the manner contemplated by the Constitution and the laws of Guyana. And the Minister of Finance has done precisely that. He has not violated any law. He has not acted in any manner contrary to the Constitution of Guyana. And the orders that are being sought by the applicants are all misconceived.
On December 12th, APNU filed a court action seeking to stop unauthorized spending by government and spending on programs that were disapproved by the Parliament. Reporting for the Evening News, Vanu Manikchand.
A security guard met his demise on Tuesday evening after the minibus she was traveling in crashed into a utility pole at Little Diamond on the east bank of Demerara. Here's Bishar Mohammed with the details.
The dead woman has been identified as 51-year-old Yvette Stull Joseph of Golden Grove, East Coast, Demerara, while those who received injuries include the driver of the minibus, Travis David, 27, of Agricola East Bank, Demerara, Oswin Tapin, 59, of Zaskendran, Maikoni, East Coast, Demerara, and Joylyn Barker, 58. The driver and 2 passengers were treated and sent away, while Tapin remains a patient at the Georgetown Public Hospital. According to information received, Joseph was a passenger in a minibus driven by David, who was allegedly driving at a fast rate when he lost control of the vehicle and collided with a utility pole. The vehicle reportedly toppled several times before coming to a halt. The now dead woman was reportedly pinned by the wrecked vehicle and died on the spot. Joseph, David, and 3 passengers received injuries and were taken to the Diamond Diagnostic Center, where Joseph was pronounced dead on arrival. Immediately after David was treated, he was taken into police custody and is assisting with the investigations. At the Diamond Diagnostic Center, the spouse of Barker related when he became aware of the accident.
Well, actually, I don't know, I just got home and I got a call from my daughter. Actually, I saw a call on my phone. So I called, and it was my daughter who was informing me that my wife was involved in an accident. So with that information, I had straight here.
The dead woman's husband was distraught as he struggled to come to grips with his wife's death. Several times the man had to be stopped as he banged his head against the wall of the medical institution. One eyewitness told this newscast that the bus flipped a few times and some of the passengers were seen pitching out of the vehicle onto the roadway. Bisham Mohammed, The Evening News.
Government has expressed its intention to take legal action against the Guyana National Council on Public Policy and its chairman, Dr. Philip Mozart Thomas, so as to recover the over $4 million owed for services provided. Here's Alexis Rodney with the details.
The announcement was made today by Cabinet Secretary Dr. Roger Lungeon, who told reporters that government has been keeping track of the organization in Thomas. Last week, the conference center reported that it was owed a total $4,208,360 for the services provided to the organization for its Civil Society Summit held between December 17 and 19 last. It said too that the GNCPP might very well be bankrupt. The management of the center said after being issued an invalid check on the first day of the summit, it has been unable to contact Thomas. Luncheon said government will be taking every available step to recover that money.
Provided to the organization for their December the 17th gathering, have Cabinet was recently informed gone unpaid, as the check for $4 million was not honored by the bank. The government, cabinet, would be taking appropriate steps to recover the $4 million sum of money.
The GNCPP and Thomas have already been dubbed the facade by government and sections of society. Luncheon said following government's public warning about the organization, it has found some additional things which have given credence to its suspicions.
The latest disclosure seemingly justified the original position of the government of Guyana and its reservations.
The GNCPP between December 17 and 19 last hosted a Civil Society Summit. Apart from seeking the establishment of a Guyana National Civil Society Council, the objective was to seek a transition into a new dispensation of peace within society. For the Evening News, I'm Alexis Rodney.
The embattled Aishalton Secondary School assistant master at the center of controversy involving the president has a long history of misconduct dating back to 2011. Parents in the South Rupununi Region 9 area are now saying enough is enough as they push for his dismissal. Here's Svetlana Marshall.
Documents seen by the Evening News indicate that Aishalton Secondary School Assistant Master John Adams was warned on numerous occasions about teaching while under the influence of alcohol. After being inundated with complaints, the Regional Education Officer Marlon Sears Joseph on November 18, 2014 called on the Teaching Service Commission to take disciplinary action against Adams. The recommendation was primarily based on a 3-page letter written by Aishalton Secondary School headmaster Leon Jones. In the letter, Adams was not only accused of being intoxicated while at school, but was also accused of sexual misconduct. It was alleged that on March 14, 2014, the mathematics teacher left the school's compound for lunch and returned long after the second session would have commenced. Upon his return, he appeared to have been under the influence of alcohol. On the same day, a female student accused him of touching her inappropriately. In 2011, TSC found Adams guilty of 3 charges: conduct unbecoming of a teacher, unfitness being on duty while under the influence of alcohol, and inappropriate behavior to female students. He was warned that any repetition would lead to dismissal. Additionally, he was debarred from promotion for 1 year. Svetlana Marshall reporting for the Evening News.
The challenges faced by the Guyana Power and Light GPL in providing power to the more than 140,000 consumers across the country could be alleviated should the opposition support the Amaila Falls hydropower project. Alexis Rodney reports.
This was the message of People's Progressive Party General Secretary Clement Rohi on Tuesday at the party's weekly press conference. The multi-billion-dollar project seeks to generate reliable, affordable and clean energy for Guyanese and is said to be a fundamental component of Guyana's low-carbon development strategy, which will significantly lower the country's long-term energy costs and exposure to imported oil price volatility. It involves the construction of a hydropower plant in West Central Guyana, where the Amaila and Coebrang rivers meet.
Given the circumstances surrounding the electricity sector, our party wishes to remind that the long-term solution for cheap and reliable energy lies in the materialization of the Amaila Hydro Project. Guyana's rapid development and unprecedented development demands this visionary and transformative initiative as part of the efforts to build a brighter future for all.
According to the GS, the realization of this project will provide the related services and relief to citizens and the local and foreign investors. He said he hopes this year the opposition will shed its proclivity to partisan politics and come to the realization of the importance of the project. Such a realization will result in the opposition ceasing to deny Guyanese the benefits of the endeavor.
We believe that if the opposition is honestly concerned about the welfare of all Guyanese and the building of a better Guyana, 2015 provides yet another opportunity for them to engage in genuine self-redemption.
The combined opposition had disapproved the $22 billion allocation to the project. Among the reasons given for the objection was that money was being requested when there has not been an effective feasibility study by the Inter-American Development Bank. Other concerns surrounded the financing package and the contract. Since then, the opposition, particularly a Partnership for National Unity, remains steadfast in its position of non-support. The electricity produced by the plant will be delivered to Georgetown and Linden by an electric transmission line. For the Evening News, Alexis Rodney.
In the courts, 18-year-old Rokino Mason of Lot 37, Old Carroll Linden, was refused bail after being arraigned for murder. The pork knocker appeared at the Georgetown Magistrates Court before Chief Magistrate Priya Sinarayan Bihari. The allegation read that on January 1 at 111 miles Madhya Region 8, Potaro Siparuni, he murdered Andre Britton. The defendant was not required to plead since the charge was indictable. According to information received, persons in the village were celebrating the dawn of the new year when one man accidentally threw a squib into the yard of Britton. After the squib exploded, the now deceased man, who was in front of his yard, reportedly confronted the defendant, which resulted in an argument. Sources said that during the confrontation, the now dead man started to use obscene language and shocked the suspect. The suspect reportedly left but later returned, walked up to the man and stabbed him several times with a knife. Britton, who fell to the ground, was picked up and rushed to the Madhya hospital but died on his way there. Mason was remanded to prison and the matter is transferred to the Madhya Magistrates Court for January 19. More news still ahead. Stay tuned. Welcome back. This is the evening news on TVG. Renard Romain of Mabura Hills, Linden, was slapped with the capital charge of murder when he appeared before the Chief Magistrate, Priya Narayan Bihari, at the Georgetown Magistrates Courts. The 36-year-old minor was not required to plead to the charge, which read that on January 2 at Frenchman Upper Essequibo River, he murdered Seabert Moore. Moore of Victory Valley, Wisma Linden, was involved in an altercation with another man at Frenchman, during which he was stabbed about his body. He was taken from his work site at the Empire Mining Company and rushed to the Mackenzie Hospital, where he was pronounced dead on arrival. Romain will appear at the Linden Magistrates Court on January 13. The Ghana Public Service Union representative is refuting allegations made by the Natural Resources and Environment Ministry that a protest call by his union for wage increases at the Ghana Geology and Mines Commission is illegal. Royden James reports.
Senior industrial officer attached to the Guyana Geology and Mines Commission, Dennis English, today dismissed comments which stated that a recent wage increase protest action sanctioned by the GPSU is illegal. When the evening news arrived on the scene, English had this to say.
What I can say to you is that this struggle and this action taken by us is within the ambits of the law. It's legal. Those who are claiming, I don't know to what extent they are privileged to make such statement, or whether they have indicated by what primary instrument they're guided. Right, but if it is being said to create distraction to this action that we're taking, then I'm afraid that it will not distract us, and we will continue to take the necessary action.
He said too that both the management and ministry should be aware of statements they're making, since it does not augurs well for good industrial relations.
I'm also would want to caution that certain claims and statements now may not augurs well for a good industrial relations climate and a cordial union management or leadership relation. And therefore, we would want to say, and we've been telling our members and the general public, that our action is illegal. If we're talking about illegality, there are several levels of illegality that we could point out that is taken by many of them in authority. So I am hoping that they're not opening a can of worms. But as I say, that we would not be going down that line to create any distraction.
Meanwhile, Guyana Public Service Union Industrial Relations Officer Jermaine Hermanstein noted that the industrial actions that they have taken are not intended to cause destruction.
You see, the difference between ourselves as well as them is that what we're doing is that we're pointing out terms of resumption by which it has specific clause, and it is based on those clauses that clearly makes what we're doing legal.
In addition, he said that the union had a specific time frame in which to review its position.
The terms of resumption specifically states that the union has within 1 month. Within 1 month, the union could review its position. What the union has done is review its position within the 1 month, and what we're doing is what is stipulated within that document.
When contacted on Tuesday, the chairman of the board, Clinton Williams, denied having a clue as to what was happening and therefore declined to further comment on the issue. Reporting for the evening news, I'm Royden James.
Some $35.2 million was on Tuesday approved for procurement of sensitive materials for the Ghana Elections Commission GECOM as it prepares for the upcoming regional and general elections. Cabinet gave its no objection for the money to be used to secure the materials such as ballot boxes, security seals, validation seals, ballot papers, voters lists, computer ballot paper stamps, and indelible ink. While a date for elections has not yet been announced by the President, Donald Ramotar, the Elections Commission has indicated that it is in a state of readiness. Meanwhile, the Ghana Elections Commission GECOM advises that it is currently preparing to produce the preliminary list of electors and urges all persons who are eligible to vote to check the extracts to ensure their details are accurate. More on this report.
Having completed the 7th cycle of continuous registration, the GECOM Secretariat is conducting a thorough fingerprint cross-examination exercise as it analyzes the fingerprints of registrants on both the existing National Register of Registrants as well as applicant for new registration and new databases to eliminate multiple registrations. When this exercise is completed, the preliminary list of electors will be produced. Persons are urged to check these lists, which will be displayed in their respective communities of residence, to ensure their details are accurate, and to apply for registration, change, corrections, and transfers during the claims and objectives exercise as might be necessary. The commission now awaits the announcement by the president for a date for general and regional elections. Reporting for the Evening News, Davina Samaru.
A father of 5 residing along the west bank of Demerara is gravely concerned over the numerous times stray bullets have landed in the homes of residents along the riverbank. Let's find out more in this report.
Residents have finally had enough of what seems to be a common situation in Katrina Sophia and neighboring villages on the west bank of Demerara. Last evening around 18:45 hours, after a bullet landed in his youngest son's bedroom, Terence Siguram decided that it is time to make an effort to put an end to the situation.
Joshua discovered the bullet under his bed. Came downstairs because my wife, Marianne, David and Rakesh were downstairs in the kitchen, right? And he showed them the bullet. Rakesh, well, at first I didn't know whether it was a bullet or not, right? Because I ain't too much acquainted with them kind of thing. I thought it was some lipstick bottle, you know, they got a similarity, something they had. And so Rakesh said, "Oh, this is a warhead." He went upstairs and started to look, to take out the phone, right? You know, the phone got light, and started to use the light. When he shined it on the roof, he saw the hole. And then he said, "This is a serious matter. Let us call the police station."
Even though no one was injured, Siguram reflected on a similar incident in 2013 where 14-year-old Ryan Prasad of Viva La Force was killed by a stray bullet.
The child, he didn't even finish going to school, was a teenager. And it's something serious. And I'm here to make this report in concern of the welfare of other people, because just as how the boy died back then, if this thing should continue, other people could lose their life or lose their life.
While he acknowledged that the police from Wales Police Station responded promptly, he said he cannot wait until they complete their investigations because chances are someone may lose their life during that period. Instead, he opted to plead to those guilty of this offense to desist from doing so.
Where I'm living, Katrina Sophia, is on the west bank of the Demerara River. We are living opposite Supply. And between Supply and Land of Canaan, you have wharfs, and whoever is going there to use firearms, whether for recreational purposes or trying out the arms, I will kindly ask you to desist from such practices, because people is living on the west bank. You might see bush when you watch from the wharf. You mightn't see houses, but people is living on the west bank.
Reporting for the Evening News, Davina Samaru.
Agostini's Limited out of Trinidad and Tobago has acquired a 40% stake in local company Desinco Trading. When the Evening News contacted Agostini's in Trinidad via telephone, the company confirmed its move, while the move has also been confirmed by Desinco. According to reports, the business venture was disclosed via the TNT Stock Exchange yesterday. It was stated that Secretary of the Trinidadian company, Rajesh Rajkumar Singh, described Desinco as well established in distribution trade and a respected member of the Guyanese business community. Agostini's is excited about the investment and said it looks forward to working with Desinco. Desinco has been in business for over 20 years. Bishar Mohammed now tells us that additional human resources were deployed to join the search for the missing Air Services Limited Britain Norman Islander aircraft. Here are details.
The resources were deployed following a visit by Chief of Staff of the Guyana Defence Force Mark Phillips to the Rescue Coordination Centre at Temeri Control Tower. Brigadier Phillips held discussions with the members of the Rescue Coordination Centre and committed more support as they continued their mission to locate the aircraft that went missing on December 28, 2014, with a pilot and cargo loader on board. 7 Guyana Defence Force ranks touched down at Madhya airstrip this morning following the meeting. They were immediately briefed on their role in the active search which started 12 days ago. The Evening News understands that the Guyana Defence Force is likely to pull out of the search operations from Monday next, after taking into consideration the present duration of the search and the fact that no success has been made. Meanwhile, Senior Air Traffic Controller Roy Suk, who plays an integral role at the Rescue Coordination Center, said that the additional manpower is welcomed. He also expressed disappointment that the wreckage has not yet been sighted, while explaining that the search will continue. On Tuesday, the team searched the Ebini mountain range but found no clues that can lead them to the wreckage. Earlier today, the search party ventured out to the Amatok Fall area with the hope of finding something. Bisham Mohammed, Evening News.
The University of Guyana's Information and Communication Technology Department will be given a further boost with the granting of a $34.4 million contract for the procurement of a contractor to commence work at the institution's Turkine campus. Cabinet Secretary Dr. Roger Luncheon made the announcement on Wednesday at his post-cabinet media briefing. He also reported that the Tourism Ministry has also been granted an excess of $220 million for the construction of 2 call centers at Tushan, East Bank, Essequibo, and Enmore on the east coast of Demerara. The ministry has also been granted an additional $40 million for the procurement of a consultancy firm for the digitalization of records within its deeds and sub-registries. Additionally, Dr. Luncheon announced that Cabinet gave its no objection to a $56.2 million contract for the Chadijagan International Airport Expansion Project, which covers the relocation of the instrument landing and distant measuring systems. Stay tuned to the Evening News. More news ahead. Welcome back. This is the Evening News on TVG. In this report, we'll tell you that a feasibility study on the East Coast and the East Bank Demerara Bypass Road project has been completed.
With the completion of the feasibility study, government is now contemplating the way forward for the project. Government is hoping to build a bypass road connecting the 2 main highways in an effort to reduce traffic congestion for commuters under the east bank of the Demerara. In his New Year's address, President Donald Ramotar said the move will see a US $65 million in investment to build 20 kilometers of roads and supporting infrastructure. According to the head of state, an alternative link between Diamond and Eccles will be constructed during the first half of the year. The new road, designed as a modern highway with international standards, will provide access for more than 480 acres of unutilized land. It will also allow for the creation of new communities, targeting almost 1,500 households, thus further adding to the development of the East Bank corridor. Government has been spending billions of dollars over the years to improve the country's roadways. This bank road is being expanded into 4 lanes from Providence to Diamond. The project is being financed with a US $20 million loan from the Inter-American Development Bank. Additionally, works are also being done to upgrade the East Coast Road into 4 lanes from Better Hope to Anns Grove. For the Evening News, Alexis Rodney.
In this Roy and James report, we now hear that after 6 months of employment, 2 municipal nurses are yet to be paid.
Acting Town Clerk Carol Sobe is contending that the municipal nurses were not employed through the normal channel. She said as a result, the nurses can't be paid until they're employed through the right channels.
The 2 nurses were not employed through the normal channel. One is a retiree and the other one resigned from this job and went somewhere and came back. And it didn't go through the normal channel, and the council took a decision that it must be paid, but we couldn't pay without the decision going through the normal channel. It was sent to the Minister of Local Government, who was dealing with the matter, and it wasn't conclusive as yet. We were trying to get the personnel officer who took it upon herself to do the interviews and did not submit a report, neither the results of the interviews. And as a result of that, we couldn't deal with it. But as recent as yesterday afternoon, I was dealing with the matter with the minister, and there will be some movement.
But Mayor Hamilton Green and Deputy Mayor Patricia Chase Green said that the nurses were employed through the right channel, noting that 17 councillors had approved their application, but the acting town clerk had declined. According to Green, local government minister is aware of their employment, and he is also aware that the nurses' applications were approved by majority of the councillors, but again is colluding with the acting town clerk.
And he said he had seen nowhere that the statutory meeting had given approval to a recommendation by the Personnel and Training Committee to have the nurses and the clerk appointed. There are two things about that. One, that it was approved at an earlier meeting, and as a result of that, the personnel officer sent letters of appointment which are available to the clerk and the nurses since July.
However, it was reported that the nurses are expected to be paid by the end of this week once all issues are sorted out. The nurses told this newscast their stories.
I was employed on the 4th of August, and since then to now I have not been paid.
And what have you done since then?
Well, according to, I have a letter of appointment approved by the Mayor and City Council. But according to Ms. Subo, she's saying that the employment is illegal.
Holiday to me for 2014, it was what I was not expected, to be. It could have been far better because I have a son, and children is always look forward for something at Christmas time. But I just bearing up. I just do pray that whoever involved, for us to get our salary, that at least they would, think about it and, see with us. So.
Reporting for the evening news, I'm Royden James.
Stay tuned, your regional, international and bridge reports are still ahead. Welcome back. This is the evening news. In the region now, people in Venezuela's Savannah heartlands struggling to survive the national economic crisis have found a novel way to make ends meet: fish smuggling to Colombia. While smuggling of gasoline and medicine has been going on for years, little is known about the trade in tons of freshwater fish by Venezuelans who pile them onto long motorized canoes and traverse dangerous waterways for days into Colombia. Fishermen and traders in the border state of Apure in Venezuela's agricultural plains speak openly of negotiating with Colombians' guerrillas and bribing Venezuelan authorities in a trade that keep whole villages fed. The fish are carefully packed with ice, then covered with cloth. Children can be seen working on the riverbank, while large wads of cash change hands at every juncture. Internationally now, gunmen have shot dead 12 people at the Paris office of the French satirical magazine Charlie Hebdo in an apparent militant Islamic attack. 4 of the magazine's well-known cartoonists, including its editor, were among those killed, as well as 2 police officers. A major police operation is underway to find 3 gunmen who fled by car. President Francois Hollande said there was no doubt it had been a terrorist attack of exceptional barbarity. It is believed to be the deadliest attack in France since 1961, when right-wingers who wanted to keep Algeria French bombed a train, killing 28 people. In case you've just joined us, you're watching Evening News. We now take a look at your bridge reports. The Demerara Harbour Bridge is expected to be closed from 5 hours on Thursday, January 8 for a period of 1.5 hours. And the Berbice River Bridge is expected to be closed from 6 hours 15 on Thursday, January 8 for a period of 1.5 hours. Join us after the break for sports, sponsored by MacWop. This is the Evening News.
Every day presents a few more challenges. Keeping your business running shouldn't be one of them. That's why we work every day towards ensuring your overall satisfaction. With over 100 skilled technicians and engineers equipped with the tools and skills to help you do more. With the largest parts inventory in Guyana, over 10,000 line items readily available. Driven by your success is not just a set of words to us. It is a code by which we live. That is why we are proud to say that we are Victory!
Welcome back. Now for a look at sport, but first the headlines. Historian Dr. Winston McGowan is cricket ombudsman. Normalization committee to appoint technical director on Saturday. Sarwan out of Najiko Super 50 tournament. And Australia in charge against India at Sydney. Of course, the sportcast comes to the kind compliments of MacCorp.
Every day presents a few more challenges. Keeping your business running shouldn't be one of them. That's why we work every day towards ensuring your overall satisfaction. With over 100 skilled technicians and engineers equipped with the tools and skills to help you do more. With the largest parts inventory in Guyana, over 10,000 line items readily available. Driven by your success is not just a set of words to us. It is a code by which we live. That is why we are proud to say that we are Victory!
Welcome back. Now for the details, we start off with some cricket news. Historian Dr. Winston McGowan has been appointed as Guyana's first ever cricket ombudsman. The announcement was made today by Cabinet Secretary Dr. Roger Luncheon during his post-cabinet press briefing. Here are details.
Dr. Luncheon highlighted that subsequent to Cabinet's approval, Dr. McGowan, who has given distinguished service to the University of Guyana for close to 4 decades, was appointed by the Sport Minister, Dr. Frank Anthony.
The post of cricket ombudsman is new to Guyana and is a feature of the recently enacted Cricket Administration Law. June the 20th was enacted in Parliament and assented to by the President in August.
Dr. Luncheon also used the opportunity to highlight the primary roles and functions of the Cricket Ombudsman.
Dr. McGowan is responsible for those elections at the or of the recognized cricketing organizations in Guyana of their officials. Essentially, from henceforth, and in accordance with the provisions of the Cricket Administration Law, the elections of officers of these recognized cricketing organizations would be conducted a la Cricket Ombudsman.
Dr. McGowan's appointment follows closely on the heels of retired Justice Winston Moore being appointed as the Ombudsman for Guyana. During his time at the University of Guyana, Dr. McGowan served as head of the Department of History from 1985 to 1996, Assistant Dean of the Faculty of Arts from 1975 to 1976, coordinator of the MA program in Guyanese and West Indian History from 1990 to 2008, and chairman of the Board for Graduate Studies from 1992 to 1996. He is also credited with outstanding research and publications, as well as sound administrative skills.
Football news now. The new technical director of the Guyana Football Federation will be introduced to the public this weekend at a specially convened press conference at Football House in Campbellville. Here are details.
The recently installed Normalization Committee, headed by businessman Clinton Erling, announced today that the Ghana Football Federation, the GFF, will on Saturday make known to the public the person who will take up the crucial post of Technical Director for Ghana's football. The Technical Director position became vacant with the exit of overseas-based Guyanese Mark Rodrigues, who was part of the Christopher Matthias-led administration, which was disbanded by FIFA late last year, thus making way for the Normalization Committee. Rodrigues had taken over from Trinidad and Tobago's Jamal Shabazz, who had served under Colin Klass and Franklin Wilson during their tenure at the helm. Shabazz is considered Guyana's most successful technical director, having led the country to the historic third round of the 2014 FIFA World Cup qualifiers. Meanwhile, during 2015, Guyana will participate in the CONCACAF Olympic Under-23 qualifiers and the 2018 World Cup qualifiers, and as such, filling the technical director's post is one of paramount importance, since it will be responsible for the composition of teams and the identifying and gathering of players suitable to represent the country. While no names have been made public, it is understood that all the applicants are highly qualified, and according to Erling, FIFA has been clear that the GFF must employ the services of a resident technical director. The press conference will take place at 11 hours on Saturday in the conference room of the GFF.
Internationally now, Australian captain Stephen Smith scored his 4th century in successive test matches to put his side in control of the 4th test against India in Sydney. Smith's 117 saw him match Sir Donald Bradman and Jacques Kallis's record of 400s in a series. The stand-in captain shared a 196-run partnership with Shane Watson 81 for the 3rd wicket as Australia declared their first innings on 572 for 7. Sean Marsh 73 and Joe Burns 58 also scored half-centuries as all of Australia's top 6 batsmen passed 50. Opener David Warner scored a century on the opening day. India recovered well from the early loss of Murali Vijay to close day 2 on 71 for 1. Closer to home, marquee batsman Ramnaresh Sarwan will take no part in the NAGCO Super 50 Limited Overs Regional Tournament slated for later this month in Trinidad and Tobago. Razio Bisnot reports.
Sarwan's confirmation came after Trinidad and Tobago Red Force announced a 14-man squad on Tuesday evening minus the right-hander. Sarwan was ruled out of the West Indies Cricket Board Professional Cricket League 4-day tournament after withdrawing from the Red Force's squad prior to the second-round game against the Leeward Islands. The Trinidad and Tobago Cricket Board confirmed that the former West Indies captain had pulled out of the squad for personal reasons and has since returned to his native Guyana. Sarwan, the out-of-favour test batsman, was selected by the Trinidad and Tobago as a second-round pick in the PCL draft in October last year. Sarwan, along with Barbadian all-rounder Raymond Reefer, who was chosen by Guyana as a first-round pick, are the 2 only players chosen by teams based outside of the country of their birth, as regional franchises chose to stick with their local players. A former Guyana and West Indies captain, the right-hander has played 87 Test, 181 one-day internationals, and 18 2020 internationals. However, he has not played a Test in 3 years and an international match in over a year because of loss of form and fitness. The Super 50 tournament will be played from January 15 to 25 in Trinidad and Tobago.
And finally, some boxing news. The legend Muhammad Ali has been released from a hospital after being admitted last month with a severe urinary tract infection. The 3-time world heavyweight champion, a cultural icon, is back home after being discharged on Tuesday night, a family spokesman said. It is understood that the 72-year-old had made a full recovery and his family thanked everyone for their support. Ali was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease in 1984 after quitting boxing. He appeared in public at a ceremony in September in his hometown of Louisville for the Muhammad Ali's Humanitarian Awards. And with that, we have come to the end of sport, which is sponsored by MarkCorp. And that's a wrap as well in the evening news for today, Wednesday, January 7, 2015. Of course, you can find these and many more stories in tomorrow's edition of the Guyana Times. And here's an invitation to join us on TVG Channel 28 and on Radio Guyana Inc. 89.3 in Essequibo, 89.5 in Georgian Environs, and 89.7 in Berbice and Unicary, Suriname. On behalf of all of us here, I'm Avinash Ramzan. Thanks for watching.